making this video. Well, we finally got to MDHHS and got to put our paperwork in the mailbox. Crazy as it is, we shouldn't have to do it, but somebody at Michigan Works has found a way to block us from actually uploading anything, even a picture of a receipt, or a receipt of a picture of a receipt, which means even a tiny little text file of metadata, nothing. So that being said, we managed to drop it off, but we found by the time we had filled out everything and walked out the door, it's probably about a 10-minute event. We saw 7 social workers leaving, and it's not even 5 o'clock. It must be nice to have that nice state salary where you just come and go as you want. Now inside this building, you have 3 kinds of, let's call them social service employees, because it's a misconception and a misidentification. You don't have to have social workers now. You got multiple employees. Some of their benefits processors work in the state building. Some of them don't. They work from home, or they work part-time, or they log in at call center. They have a booth at a call center, and they're a private contractor. They may have 1 or 2 or 3 contracts. Sorry. So it's hard to trace IP for people doing malicious things. That's the ingenuity of this criminal network. That's kind of giving people clues and training on how to get these particular jobs and become 1099 contractors. They're almost impossible to trace. They'll log in under a VPN, and they could be using something that's a little bit harder to triangulate, like some kind of hotspot system plus a VPN. Very difficult to trace somebody down to an IP address. And if every 10 or 15 or 20 minutes they're jumping their proxy server for the VPN, even more difficult to track them. With the Social Service Information System Department funding. So that being said, we haven't met anybody in person in 7 years. 7 years makes me, I hold myself partially accountable, but yet the amount that we are targeted and, our progress derailed multiple times, and the amount that we're retaliated against to, cause us significant setbacks, the finger pointing at myself kind of, becomes a fist of outrage. And again, that being said, but as I was walking back, I was thinking of these people, that work in this place. You got everywhere. You got your 9s, 10s, 11s, 12s. For the most part, I think 12 is about the highest it goes at this level. I forgot that the initials in front. It's not GS, like government service. It's something, the state equivalent. But some of these people are pulling off anywhere from a benefits processor 9 or 10, 30 to 40,000 a year, up to a GS 8 or 9, up to $75,000 to $85,000 a year. That's a lot of money. And as I said in another video, the helping professions are great. It's a chance for fruits of the spirits to really grow, or it's a chance for people to go to work, look like they're doing a great thing. They can get pats on the shoulder, at family reunions or after religious services, and in school. Oh, my mom or dad works for this agency as a insert helping professions, social worker, psychologist, psychiatrist, clinical social worker, field social worker, add it, whatever, a psychiatric nurse, add the helping profession, PA, NP, but I'm more targeted towards the people in social science, though. That's the group I'm discussing mostly. But, and then, every day they leave from work and they go home. They feel good, but yet their clients, perhaps their clients, significant amount of clients, their situation hasn't changed in months or years. And, enter conservatives. I used to be one. Point the finger at the person. Oh, it's their fault. And now I know, and people who know me, especially my daughter, will roll my eyes. I always say things are complex. They are. Things are very complicated. And some of these people who their situation hasn't changed in years, they're being targeted, or perhaps, various benefits or various programs, they're being kept from them, and they're being walled off so that they are a statistic. And then you have some that are parasites, and the system is something that they live off of for years, some people for a lifetime. And then you have people generally disabled who people just don't care. We fall into the disabled people that nobody cares, and the people that are targeted, and the people that are having stuff withheld from them. More than one thing. Last time I checked, as a veteran and as a Michigan resident and United States citizen, I can't be excluded from the building of Michigan Works. But I was told this week, you can't use any of their resources because you're not allowed in the building. Well, that would require action of a court or an executive order. And let me tell you this, politicians don't make executive orders targeting people, because it's like putting a knife to your political throat. Even if the person, is a has-been, or is a parasite, or is a troublemaker, or is a monster, it's political suicide either way. They don't do this. And, so this civil commitment nonsense, or, these people that are getting people committed, it's executive order posted on this social media, or put in the newspaper. No, it's not. Some of these are QAnoners, fanatics, and some of these are just people involved in a criminal network. And it's just another way that they target folks. But that being said, with, so much money, and when, for example, I think that a state building that we went to, the one in Saginaw recently, today, I think that they've had budget cuts, but yet I pretty much see the same amount of cars. And it looks like there's less office staff than normal people, that generally, not always, generally don't try to, remind you that they're not like you, because they know they're not. They're just like you. They're not. They know that they're not different than you. Whereas some people behind the glass at these buildings, they will do nothing but remind people that they are different than them, and because of their employment, they're special, and because of the fascist system that our country is moving towards, even social workers who were monsters have immunity. And actually, I could put a name in Facebook here of one social worker that did her best to humiliate us. But their names are in my will if anything happens to me. All the people that have stepped out of their way to do harm to my family. And even if people don't realize, to the trained investigator, especially to one educated with military experience, somebody put to the fire for their training, you can make up a fake name. They will still find you. Because one thing that's sure, especially in the electronic age, there's always evidence somewhere. Always. So that being said, when these people are making 75, 80, 90 grand a year, $120,000 a year, but their clients' lives are going nowhere because they're not being properly empowered. Some of them are being controlled because, for predators in social or in helping professions, the vulnerable are a perfect target to bully. And the greatest bully in the world is the covert narcissist or the malignant narcissist. They're the best bullies in the world, especially the covert narcissist, because generally you won't know somebody's a covert narcissist, especially if they're in a helping profession, until your face is so bruised, your stomach has been hit so many times, you've fallen down so much that you have no choice but to see the truth. And that's the problem with the direction that this building, and many of these state agencies are going. Oh yeah, we're saving money, we have a call center. But the people you're hiring for a call center are not properly trained for this kind of job. Some of them have no empathy at all. So again, all we're doing is bullying and hurting the most vulnerable when we could be building a powerhouse of people who've seen the hard times in life. They've lived life's hard knocks. They created businesses out of it. Now that's a powerful economy, which would make a big, big dent in the world of poverty.